From Der Weg einer Freiheit Innern. Okay, the German melodic black metal act that with Nocturne in 2021 made a real swerve towards greatness, beefing up their grooves alongside adding more atmospheric and progressive doom metal touches in the composition and instrumentation. They're now back 4 years later with an album that's churning inwards, with a renewed focus on surging and frenetic black metal, less a back-to-basics project so much as finding the middle ground between the experimentation and the howling bleakness, even if I will say it's not fully reinventing the wheel. The drum work is still ridiculous, although the oddly rubbery kick drum syncopation on the melody of the first half of Xibalba felt weirdly off to me. The back half eventually stabilized to cultivate that windswept melancholy, which really manifests powerfully on the frigid meditation of Fragment, and then the visceral howls alongside the tremolo shredding are straining for epic swell without going full symphonic. If the bass is less obviously heavy, it's coming in service of an increasingly balanced mix, where the seething grit of the low end better complements the riff texture, where on Marter, the shuddering rumble that drives the midsection sets up the crescendo wonderfully. Eos has this roiling, guttural churn that around what sounds like throat singing, but the English language album closer Forlorn has probably the most experimentation across that murky gallop, but the spectral synth touches, the delayed distortion, they're blended to add just enough uneasy dread. Now, I'm still not fully on board with the cleaner singing, and I can't help but feel like front-loading the longest songs doesn't exactly help the project's pacing, but I think this is also where the content probably saves this. In turning inwards, there's this self-conscious fragility in the lyrics that reflects a remarkably plain-spoken vulnerability across songs where they recognize a certain shared catharsis in diving into their own angst, a desire to return to a more primal place, past or future, until not only do they find some inner peace finding themselves buried beneath that core in that feeling, but also across Forlorn push through an arc of recognition that while there's a fear of knowing that others are hurt, possibly even by your actions, you can push through it, at least try to make things better. So yeah, if Nocturne was on the cusp of greatness, I legit think this gets there. If you're into black metal, you owe it a listen. Excellent stuff.